strategist. I am going to be talking about abandonment wounds. I know we've heard it all the time, but I'm going to help you understand how they shape your relationships and how to heal. This is so exciting to me because not many of us talk about abandonment, how it affects us in our adult life. And I know you're going to probably say to me, hey, Edna, this happened to me years ago, but it really doesn't have anything to do with now. I've forgiven and I've forgotten. I'm all over it. I'm over that. But I'm going to tell you the truth. We all aren't. It shows up in our relationships so much that it compels us to do crazy things. Do you feel like people leave you? Think about that. No matter what, and you think that you need to monitor their whereabouts so that you can make sure that they don't leave you, then you have lots of abandonment wounds that are shaping your relationships without you realizing it. So let's get into it. What are abandonment wounds? Abandonment wounds are things that happen to you in your childhood that make you feel bad, that you interpreted when you were younger, that it made you feel like you lost your best friend. That's what it does. So, how does it help shape your experiences now? Everything that you do in your relationships with anyone, including friends, is predicated on that trigger. It's predicated on I'm not going to get too close to friends because when I do rely on people, I get brokenhearted. Childhood experiences, just as mine did, I trusted my parent to take care of me. And when I said that I was not safe, she did not believe me. She chose someone over me. So what do I do in my adulthood when I don't take care of that, when I don't take time to heal, connect, and thrive? What happens? What happens is that I don't have true relationships. They're only surface. And I have to have control over each and every relationship. Even in a regular friendship, I have to have control. They got to do what I want, no matter what. I got to be the boss in a relationship because they don't know how to be real friends. I do. Or when I'm having a romantic relationship, I gotta lay everything on the table because I have to have control. They gotta tell me where they're gonna be at. They're gonna FaceTime me when I call them. They gotta do all these things so that I can feel secure. But do you know that never will change? It will never change because you have to uproot the childhood experience so that you don't traumatize any other relationship you have. So that's what happens. Even in you allowing things, let's get this right. Even if you're allowing in your relationship certain things that you know are not right, whether it be, someone name calling, hitting you, someone mentally gaslighting you, you know they're not right, but you allow it because it's a childhood trigger that you have not healed, and you will continue to have that. Even if you escaped out of a relationship, you will continue to have that until you heal, connect, and thrive. So, abandonment wounds will continue to help you have you in this. So you say every relationship, oh my God, that I'm in seems to end this way, seems to be this way. Every relationship, because that bad situation in your childhood is still alive. You have not healed it. You have not gotten it fixed. You have not spoken to anyone about it. You have not disconnected that emotional pain from the action of someone else. And then what you do is you deflect that onto someone else. So when you become in a relationship, you come into a relationship with someone, right? and this is a great person to get in a relationship, but you lay it all on the line. You say, okay, I don't want you to do this, this, and this because my last boyfriend or my last girlfriend or my last partner or my last spouse or my last husband or wife did this to me. Well, those are called ultimatums, and they're also called emotional hostage triggers. You're laying it all on line. You're not being honest. You're telling them that you don't want those things, but you're already making them lie to you. You're setting them up, and you're setting yourself up for a relationship downfall, period. That's called extra baggage. When you go and sit down with someone and you're just meeting them, you're not going to really get to know them until you get to know them. So it takes a while for someone just to let their hair down. It's not a couple of days, it's a long period of time. It's maybe 2 years that I've kind of figured out, in my lifetime. Maybe 2 years you really get to know someone. But, but, when we're clingy in a relationship, when we avoid deep connections or deep conversations, when we do that, we're showing our abandonment wounds. When we are testing people or pushing people away, when they're trying to have a conversation about something that's really deep and important, we're pushing them away, right? And we're scaring them because they're trying to get to a deeper level. When you are clinging to someone, and that's the most unhealthiest part. You're clinging to them because of fear. Hey, Bruce, thank you for stopping by. You're clinging to them because of fear that you don't want to lose them. You don't want to lose them. And that's not their responsibility. You're supposed to be able to trust them and they trust you, right? But we seem to have this clingy attitude that everyone's supposed to serve me. I've heard so many phrases like I'm a princess, I'm spoiled, I'm a mama's boy. All these phrases are all points of fear. They're all fear. They're all fear-based because your parents can't go with you in relationships. Then that's not your relationship. Even if they were married 100 years, doesn't mean that you're going to be married 100 years. You can't base your relationship off of longevity or anybody else's picture of it, because you know why? You're not that person. Even though you may have came out of them and they have your DNA, you're not that person. It just makes so much sense. Hey everyone for stopping by. So when we are showing these signs as adults, we need to address them. We will not have a healthy relationship with anyone, friends, socially, co-workers, and romantically. We will not. Even in our families, we won't have healthy. It'll be so surface. And then you know what's really painful is that you find out. You live with your brother, your sister for so many years, and you find out a piece of information that you thought you should have knew because it's your brother or sister because they live with you. Isn't that disheartening? I've heard that story over and over. I didn't know that about my brother. I didn't know that about my sister because you had a surface relationship. Surface. Literally, I could tell you that in my family, we knew so much about each other because we, we, it wasn't that we were taught to be not surface. We depended on each other because there was so much hurt in our family, so much childhood trauma that we depended on each other and we talked about things. We became our own adults in a child's situation. So sometimes you have to do that. So another one is over analyzing. So you get into a relationship, and because Joe Schmo from the last relationship did all those things, all of a sudden the new Joe Schmo is doing similar things, and you start to overanalyze. You start to feel hyper vigilant in the relationship. Well, he might be doing the same thing. And you start to do all the, start thinking about all these things that they could be doing because it seems like the other dude or the other guy or the other girl that did this to me. So you start to think about all these things. It's overanalyzing because you didn't get rid of your other baggage from your relationship. And what they're called is soul ties. When you don't get rid of past relationship baggage, it's called soul ties. And soul ties is so different on so many levels. We'll share that at another time, but it's really deep impact in your life, which you really, 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 really have to get rid of. Now let's take the impact of romantic, how these wounds go into our romantic and our friendships. And I explained all those patterns of self-sabotage. So we go on a date and we start having a conversation and you feel that magic. But then it's like, oh, what do you want in a guy? Or what do you want in a girl? They ask that question, right? And then you're like, well, this is what I don't want. That was one of my biggest mistakes that I was making. I was telling my dates, this is what I don't want. They didn't ask you that question. They asked you, what do you want? And 100% of the time, you don't know because you put up with so much mess or you're still living in your triggers that you don't even know yourself. So in order to be impactful in romantic and friendships, you have to love yourself. You have to be so good with yourself that they are not that you need them, but you want them in your life. That's two different things. You don't have to need anybody because that's clingy. That's signaling to someone that you have a hole in your heart too big for even me to fill. You want somebody in your life because you are totally fulfilled and happy, and you want someone to share that with that's going to complement you and your life. So why do we attract these emotional unavailable partners? Why do we? We attract them because, remember, we are energy. So if we are emotionally unavailable because of our own triggers, our own issues, our own problems, our own childhood traumas that we didn't get healed, that we didn't work on to heal, connect, and thrive through, guess what? We're going to attract them. They're not coming looking for us. We are vibrating. No matter how we walk around with makeup on and, well, no, well, men do sometimes, but all dressed up, let's say, all dressed up and, nicely shaven and looking good. No matter how we walk and present ourselves, we are vibrating what's inside. That heart is beating and said, oh man, I am not emotionally available. So many people hurt me in the past. I cannot be available to another soul. I just look good and I am not available. Your heart is beating that. Your heart is giving off that energy. And that energy is way low. So when you attract unavailable partners, it's not them looking for you, it's you attracting them. So let's get that right. When you're struggling with, the third thing is when you're struggling with trusts, boundaries, and self-worth, that's a total symptom of abandonment issues. Total symptoms. Trust is when you're abandoned, you stop trusting people. Boundaries is when those boundaries of yourself, your peace and your happiness and safety are broken. Boundaries are all over the place. And self-worth, when someone does not trust you and does not keep you safe, your self-worth is, oh, I must have deserved this. So you bring all of that into a romantic and friendships. And your friendships will all be okay. I can take advantage of them because their self worth is not worth it. They're not gonna care if I have them doing everything. They're not gonna care if I come and I only want them to do things and it's not reciprocal. This friendship is not reciprocal. They're not gonna care. They're gonna keep me around because they have no self worth. It's what you put out, it's what they're gonna gravitate to, and they are going to give you what you want because you want that, because you haven't healed that. You haven't connected to that root cause, and you haven't thrived beyond that. Now, let's move toward healing. Let's move toward that. You have to rewrite your internal narrative. And the internal narrative around abandonment is I am worthy of love. You have to change that narrative. Abandonment puts out that I am not worthy. I am not available for this. I am not the one. But when you change that narrative, the one thing you should be saying to yourself is, I am worthy of love. So I put this to you today, guys. Say that to yourself. Take that. If you don't take anything today, take that one thing. I am worthy of love. That one thing. And rewrite your internal narrative. Rewrite it, okay? The second thing is practicing self-soothing techniques. That means, one of my self-soothing is I have a place that I go like this. Some people I've seen even start to do this, twiddle their thumbs, self-soothing, or, something that you can do. I even wrap my hands this way and hug myself, and that self-soothes me. Find something that soothes you. So when you feeling this way, start to self-soothe. When you are feeling that you're accepting something that you should not, start to self-soothe. Find something that you self-soothe, whether it's twiddling your thumbs, whether it's, maybe stroking your arm or whatever. Find something that self-soothes you. Or years ago, they used to have these little balls like they were silver, and I still have mine. And I used to, soothe. When I'm in a conflict or whatever, I'm in a meeting, I get those balls, and and it helped me think, help me focus. So find something that helps you self-soothe. Third thing, learn to trust yourself and your emotions. Learning to trust yourself is the first initial step for you to be able to trust somebody else. Learn to trust yourself and your emotions. Fourth, create secure attachments with healthy people. The people that you now are around that you say that are taking advantage of you are not healthy. You know, start to disengage, meaning tell them that you're not accepting that any longer. And let's see if they stay around. Let's see if they stay on board. If they don't, they don't. But start to create secure attachments that are good, that are healthy, that are reciprocal, that inspire you, that help you lift you up, to help you grow, that you want, not the ones that you need. Because no one in this world can fill the hole in your heart when it comes to being someone that a partner or a friend. No one can do that. So just so you know. Okay, so my final thoughts on this is healing takes time, but every step towards moving forward and changing the internal dialogue is a victory. After this, I want you to post under this video, what's the one thing you're taking away from the session? What's the one thing? All I need you to do is comment below. What's the one thing that you're taking away? And I hope that I helped you through this situation. Hey, and another thing is please drop a heart. If any of this resonates, put a heart down there below. If any of this resonates, because I would love your comments, and I love hearts. So drop a heart below, and I'll keep doing videos like this about abandonment, and I'm trying to understand, how you feel and help you to change that dynamic. This is Edna White, your life purpose strategist. Please look for me on www.ednawhite.com. Thanks for watching.